Welcome in here to the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You are watching the Madness Racing League live here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel's TikTok platform. We're getting ready to take on the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway around this 1.50 mile and a half capacity of 95,000 sold out asses here tonight. Open in 1960 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Getting ready to go racing here tonight in Charlotte. These guys are dialing in these race cars. They're getting ready to throw you back down there on the main broadcast, as we are moments away from qualifying here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, supporting the troops here as we are at the Charlotte Motor Speedway here for the VetTix 150 for the Madness Racing League. Ladies and gentlemen, who is going to take home the trophy today and lock themselves into this next gen playoffs? Ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks ago saw Jonathan Smith had the win taken from him. From Jonathan Smith there in the closing line at the Nashville Super Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, why we are waiting on it to pop up. We'll throw up the remaining schedule here for the Next Gen Cup Series headed Iowa 2 weeks from now. But tonight we'll support the troops for 100 laps around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Our crown jewel race here for the Next Gen Cup Series will be turning from day to night here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing? Here are the points system for tonight's Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. This is currently how they sit. Chase Johnson and Corey Tesner. Chase Johnson racing, the only two winners all year long. Chase Johnson's the only two-time winner we had up to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, you see them shaking out right there. We'll take 10 to the playoffs, and the rest of them will have to be just SOL. That means shit out of luck back down here on the main broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you see these guys tuning in these race cars, getting ready to tackle on the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Moments away as mayhem is starting to ensue here. That is going to tell me that the white flag is possibly right around the corner. We got a pile up over here. Trouble off turn 2. Back in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. This is the VetTix 150 live here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Madness Racing League. Waiting on Freddie the flagman to throw up the final flag here for the practice session. Looks like he'll do that right now, so we'll go ahead and kill the music here on the broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and ask you guys and change it up a little bit to rise and stand as you're able to for tonight's national anthem as we support the troops here. We want to make sure that you guys show your support here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start tonight with the tap salute here to all the fallen soldiers as we salute the troops here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's the taps performed tonight by the United States Army Band. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please stand still as you're still standing and remove your hats here as we get ready to tackle on the Star Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away, getting ready to kick off the qualifying session here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just waiting on the admin to go ahead and flip it over here. Looks like we're waiting on our first contestant to get out on the racetrack here tonight on tonight's Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series live here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we have our first guy, ladies and gentlemen. Coming out here tonight, looks like going to be driving the number 62 Coors Light Silver Bullet Ford Mustang from Achula, Florida, down the back straightaway. That's going to be Dominic Solano. Dominic Solano going to make his way into the turn 3 area now, getting ready to go down into turn 3, ripping through your living room live here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Dominic Solano up through the gears here on the clock now, coming across the green flag for the first time here tonight. And racing is on our way here, the America's home of racing here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dominic Solano comes all the way from down south in Florida up here to North Carolina, trying to make something shake up off the bottom of turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway here for the first lap of his qualifying session. Ladies and gentlemen, Dominic, whatever the hell you want to call it, you can have it the way that you like it, just like Burger King. Coming across the straightaway here through the dog leg. Where will he post on his first lap? Currently top of the board right now with the collected guys that's out on the racetrack as they run around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Currently right now, here comes Dominic Solano down the back straightaway for the final time here tonight. Currently sitting P2 on the board is Kyle, Big Country Kyle Fountain. We'll jump up there to the top of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, the ticker is F'd up on the left side of the racetrack. You're going to have to wait and let it update as we continue to progress through the qualifying session. Where will Dominic Solano gain? Corey Tesner jumps to the top of the board. And Dominic Solano will go to P3 right here on tonight's Booty Scoot Racing channel's Fat Tick 150 live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here comes your mom's favorite driver, John Michael Bryant, down into turns 3 and 4 here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Driving that Creek Water River Risky across the dog leg, across the line. Here comes John Michael Bryant. Where did he get on his first lap? P5 on the board for the boogeyman of John Michael Bryant, looking around a little bit of cages here tonight, down the back straightaway off of turn 2 here for the final time tonight. Your mom's favorite driver reminding you to tell her to keep her clothes on all night long. It's going to be one hell of a show, because the boogeyman looks like he's got a bad, fast Toyota Camry, selling up the corners a little higher than he probably wanted to off of turns 3 and 4. This is going to kill the lap time of the boogeyman of John Michael Bryant, heading across the line now. Where will he post? John Michael Bryant will have to keep that P5 spot on the board here. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll scoot down here. Here's the number 13 Premier setup Chevy Camaro from Goldsboro, North Carolina, the hometown kid of Jonathan Smith, roaring down the back straightaway towards turn 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and put your foam fingers up. Here comes Jonathan Smith, as he is flying here. Make sure you go check out the NapDaddyRacing.com for all your iRacing paint ski liveries and needs. Jonathan Smith is on the board here, coming off of pit road. He is absolutely flying down into turns 1 and 2, riding on board with Jonathan Smith and that Nap Daddy Racing Chevy Camaro up the corner up of turns 1 and 2. What a great exit for that number 13 machine. He's ripping down the back straightaway. Jonathan Smith currently trailing towards the top of the board right now. He'll lose a little bit heading over the bump. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about tonight's keys of the race. Heading through turns 3 and 4 as we get closer to tonight's event here. Looks like Jonathan Smith's coming across the line. Where will he get on his first lap? P5 for Jonathan Smith here. We'll sit on over here to his driver owner, Terry Hughes Jr., driving that number 81 Mobile 1 Ford Mustang, currently tracking towards the top of the board off of turns 3 and 4. This is going to be a power lap for Terry Hughes. P1 for Terry Hughes Jr. across the board here, and he is still shitting and getting here through turns 1 and 2. Does Terry Hughes Jr. have more left in the tank in that Mobile 1? No, he'll slap the outside wall. Big loose off the corner. Lock it down. What a save. Looks like Bryce Gainey's from Mooresville, North Carolina, will end out his rat right here. Here comes the number 96 Liquid Death Chevy Camaro from Scottsdale, West Virginia. That's Baker Knapp as he heads across the line for his qualifying session. Baker Knapp making his Booty Scoot Racing channel debut here. The Liquid Death is not alcohol. It is just a liquid put inside of a can like water. So ladies and gentlemen, don't get it twisted. He is not under the influence. Down the back straightaway here comes Baker Knapp, and he might have a chance at the top 5 spot right here as he'll lose a little bit jumping through that bump through turns 3 and 4. Absolutely shitting and getting off the corner. Here comes the number 96 of Baker Knapp to complete his qualifying session. Baker Knapp will have to keep the P12 spot right there on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Young Money Alex Morales will end out his qualifying lap right there, and I'm looking around here, and I believe that's going to be everybody that's going to currently turn a lap here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. So give me just a moment. It looks like everybody's getting ready to switch over here to the gridding portion part of tonight. So we're getting ready to kick off the drivers' introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in here tonight for the Madness Racing League's Next Gen Cup Series. This is our crown jewel race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedways. Guys continue to fail in the field here. You are watching the VetTix 150 scheduled for 100 laps around the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the home of America's racing. Charlotte Motor Speedway. These guys tripping to the troops here tonight as Dominic Solano is waiting on him to join in the field here. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Knight, he's got the Stars and Stripes on as him as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the Army Applications Laboratory Ford Mustang looks bad fast here. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Terry Hughes Jr. It looks like he's going to be the guy on the pole here tonight. And we're waiting on a couple more drivers here to join in, and we will kick off tonight's drivers' introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to go racing here around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You are riding around on the Bojangles drone cam, as we get ready to kick off tonight's driver's introduction. Here will be the front first 6 or 7 rows here. We'll exit it out here. Go ahead, get ready to kick it off here. Starting on the pole, setting the fastest time here tonight in Charlotte. From Troy, Alabama, driving the Mobile 1 81XI Ford Mustang. That's going to be driver owner Terry Hughes Jr. Starting on the outside of him, driving the STI Johnson, number 51, Chase Johnson Racing, Chevy Camaro, from Greer, South Carolina. That's going to be Chase Johnson. Starting on the 3rd place spot here tonight on the inside, 2nd row, driving the Flow Racing, number 5 for Chase Johnson Racing. That's going to be Corey Tesner. Starting in the 4th place spot here tonight, 2nd row from Mooresville, North Carolina, driving the number 15 Coca-Cola Target Ford Mustang. That's going to be Holden Wheeler. Starting behind him, driving that Nap Daddy Racing, number 13, Chevy Camaro from Goldsboro, North Carolina. That's going to be Jonathan Smith. Below him, driving the number 59, Tyler's Pub of the Pier. Looks like tired out here. That's the U.S. Air Force veteran, Kyle Fountain. Jonathan Smith here on the outside of him. We've already went over the number 19, Bass Pro Shops. Tracker ATMs, number 19, Toyota TRD Camry from Mooresville, North Carolina. That's Bryce Gainey. Starting on the outside of him, driving that number 23, Creekwater River Whiskey, Toyota Camry from Greer, South Carolina. That's John Michael Bryant. Rounding out the 9th place spot here tonight, driving the Triple Deuce Army, looks like Bomb Triple Deuce Ford Mustang, B-Town, Indiana's very own Chris Knighty. Starting on the outside of him, driving the number 62 Coors Light Silver Bullet Ford Mustang from Wauchula, Florida. That's going to be Dominic Solano. Rounding out here in the number 5 HendrickCars.com, filling in for Kyle Larson this week for the Madness Racing League. That's Young Money Alex Morales. Starting in the number 7 machine here tonight from Pelzer, South Carolina, driving the Ford Mustang. That's going to be Travo Wall. Tony Cook driving that Coors Light number 33 Home Run Cafe Silver Bullet here tonight in Charlotte, looking to make his way to the front. He'll round out the 14th place spot. Baker Knapp in that number 96 Liquid Death Chevy Camaro from Scott Depot, West Virginia, will shake out the 13th place spot here tonight. Nicholas Maynard in the Welford, South Carolina Ford Mustang, Maynard Motors, Dark Horse, green and black colors here tonight, rounding out the tail end of the field. He'll round out the 14th place spot. Blake Hochschild on that Pete Haas number 12 Toyota Camry will shake out in the 16th place spot. And Bobby Kyle in the 777 Havoline Toyota Camry from Honorsville, Georgia, will be the tail end of the contestant field here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to go racing here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Pick your favorite driver. Follow along with them all night long. Peter the Pace Car is getting ready to hang that left on the pit road. Not a fan is sitting on their ass in the stands. Terry Hughes Jr. wins his first pole here in the Madness Racing League. And he is getting ready to set sail here as soon as Peter the Pace Car hangs this left this next time around. Looks like we can't get Peter off of the racetrack. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll throw up the race info one more time. Getting ready to tackle on race number 4 for the Next Gen Series around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the perfect time to kick it off here to our brand new segment here for the Madness Racing League. Tonight's keys of the race. Save those tires. Manage that bump in turns 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know, the Charlotte Motor Speedway was built on a land field, or the land field was put here after the fact, after the raceway was built here. So turns 3 and 4 is really starting to sink in here. These guys are going to battle a tough bump over there all night long that'll really knock these Next Gen Cup cars loose. Ladies and gentlemen, after that, they're going to want to try to handle on and stay on top of these race car balances as we shift from the day to the night as the night's event carries on over here. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, last but not least, smart but aggressive. You want to make sure that you're managing your way through the field, but in order to do that, you have to do it smartly. Ladies and gentlemen, we should be letting Peter hang that fat left on the pit road this time around. He might be pissed off because we got him out there in that piece of shit car and not his big jacked up dually truck that he's used to, and he'll flick us the middle finger as he heads through turns 3 and 4 here for the final time tonight. There's the number 15 of Holden Wheeler. He said he was ready to kick off tonight's main event. Ladies and gentlemen, Vegas is going crazy with Terry Hughes Jr. He's tonight's favorite to win it here tonight for the VetTix 150. We're glad you've joined us. It's time to go racing here for the Madness Racing League. Terry Hughes Jr. on the front row for the first time here tonight. Peter the Pace Car will hang the left on the pit road, and Terry Hughes Jr. will bring him through the Geico restart zone. We are green here in the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series, diving through the dogleg, heading towards turns 1 and 2. Terry Hughes Jr. has the advantage up through the banking, door to door here with Showtime Chase Johnson. Neither one of these guys going to lift up turns 1 and 2 for the first lap here tonight. These guys going at it down the back straightaway. Heading into turns 3 and 4, Corey Tesner shipped up off the bottom side of the racetrack. They're able to get back in line. Terry Hughes Jr. able to hold on to the race lead here. They sail back across the race line here. Looks like Terry Hughes Jr. will not lead the first lap there over Showtime Chase Johnson, but we're racing here in Charlotte, America's home for racing for the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series for race number 4. 2 weeks ago, Jonathan Smith was upset at contact. Trouble off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Caution flag flies here on the Booty Scoop Racing channel. That's Holden Wheeler and that number 15 Target Coca-Cola Ford Mustang. Trouble up here with Bryce Gainey as well. He's loose up the top of the racetrack. Caution flags all over the place here. Bryce Gainey's involved over here in a totally separate incident. Holden Wheeler's got a broken toe link down the back straightaway. We'll back that ass up here as we just seen Holden Wheeler and that number 15 take a hellacious shot to that inside wall. We'll back that ass up. Make sure you grab you a piece here as Holden Wheeler took one hell of a lick there. Ladies and gentlemen, here we're only 1 lap in tonight's event, and mayhem already. Looks like Corey Riptide Tesner and Holden Wheeler dueling it out off turns 3 and 4 here. Corey Tesner up off the bottom side of the racetrack, not clearing himself, and he'll turn around the number 15 of Holden Wheeler. So doesn't like any doing wrong there. Holden Wheeler will back that ass up one more time. And look out the left rear of the number 15 cam of Holden Wheeler there as we've seen him and Corey Tesner. We'll back it up just a little bit more here. Make sure that we didn't see anything that we didn't. Back that ass up just a tad bit here. You see Corey Tesner down on the bottom side of the racetrack here. He's going to slide up out the corner. Maybe thinks he's just a little clear. Makes the contact there. Ships around the number 15 hard to the passenger side door there with Holden Wheeler. Then we had to shoot back up here. It looks like Dominic Solano. The rest of these guys had to check up here for Bryce Gainey and that number 19. Not sure what happened there. It looks like it just stepped out on him. And the number 19 goes around as well here. So multiple wrecks here to kick off tonight's VetTix 150. Ladies and gentlemen, we are under the caution flag here tonight. Bryce Gainey will make that short trip from Mooresville. Caution flag out up here as well. Travel Wall absolutely cooked here. We'll back that ass up here. Make sure we get a great look at what the hell just happened to that number 7 Ford Mustang rock and roll entry of Travel Wall. He was trying to avoid the red. Looks like down here on the bottom side of the racetrack. Him and the number 62 just make contact. Bam! Hard on the outside wall. Dominic Solano, no wrongdoing of his there. Looks like Travel Wall just gets a wrong call from his spotter there. Nicholas Maynard has to get hard on the brakes. We're underneath the caution flag here for the first time tonight. Holden Wheeler is absolutely What do those kids say these days? Cooked here through turns 3 and 4. Back in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go nowhere. Bang, bang, bang. Welcome back here to the Moody Scoot Racing channel. Look at this beautiful shot over the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Reminding you to go check out NapDaddyRacingDesigns.com. Head on over there today. Get you a paint scheme, livery, custom number, whatever the hell you're looking for. They damn sure got it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking to join the Madness Racing League, go ahead and screenshot the code on your screen right now, and it'll take you directly to the Discord link. We'll get you added in here today. Get you out here on the Moody Scoot Racing channel and allow me to fuck up your name every once in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, underneath the caution flag here tonight, Holden Wheeler takes a massive shot to the inside wall there off the front bumper of Corey Tesner driving this number 5 machine. Ladies and gentlemen, we are scheduled to change the night from day to night here. So these guys are really going to have to stand on the top of these race cars here with the balance of it. Looks like Terry Hughes Jr. won't be able to hold on to the race lead there here in the opening laps of the BetTix 150 to Showtime Chase Johnson, Corey Tesner, Kyle Fountain, and Jonathan Smith round out the top 5 here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been one hell of a shot so far, one hell of a race. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Smith, talked to him the night before coming into tonight's event. He was absolutely not happy with the way that things turned out 2 weeks ago for him in that race at the Nashville, at the Nashville Super Speedway, where he was very there at the end with a chance to win his first ever Next Gen Cup race, and he had it taken from him as these guys just couldn't seem to keep it clean there in the closing laps. Jonathan Smith still locked in on points here, but that win that's keeping him automatically locked in held away from him. Meanwhile, Showtime Chase Johnson going to be the race leader here, familiar sight all year long. 2 wins for the number 51 STI Johnson. Chevy Camaro, he's dialed it back just a little bit here in the past couple of weeks here. These guys are starting to catch up their competition a little bit, but Showtime Chase Johnson still a championship threat in every single series that we go to. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Johnson looking to make something shake here on the restart. Terry Hughes Jr. comes in here tonight at Charlotte. Talked to him before the race. Said he made his Moody Scoot Racing channel debut right here almost a year ago in the Gen 6 Cup Series. He's back here in the Next Gens, and he's got a chance with a bad, fast race car here tonight. Several chartered entries in here for the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. He said he's looking to see how much of a chance they have with all 3 of these cars. Kyle Fountain here said this was his favorite racetrack to race at, and with 100 laps scheduled here with the transition from day to night as the sun transition, he knows his Jim Fountain racing team has the tools and ability and the capabilities to make things happen here. Looks like Nicholas Maynard will jump up 8 spots here from that previous wreck, and we'll see how things shake out here for the Maynard Motors kid. The number 62 of Dominic Solano makes contact there as well to bring out the caution flag. 5 laps are complete here, getting ready to go back racing on the Moody Scoot Racing channel. Looks like Peter the pace car is going to hang that left on the pit road. We're getting ready to go back racing here and bring them back to the start-finish line through the Geico restart zone. It's going to be Chase Johnson, the race leader here, over Terry Hughes Jr. Back through the Geico restart zone. Back green here on the Moody Scoot Racing channel. Soaring through your living room, ripping through the gears, flying towards turns 1 and 2. Chase Johnson gets a great jump down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Door to door here through turns 1 and 2. Up off the corner, Chase Johnson jumps back to the outside. But here comes a hard charging Kyle, bound down the back straightaway. Heading into turns 3 and 4 here. Looks like Alex Morales is looking to make a charge here. That number 5, HendrickCars.com. Chevy Camaro, as everybody works their way through turns 3 and 4 here. Chase Johnson gets the race lead here over Terry Hughes Jr. 7 laps are complete. Hopefully we can pick off some green flag racing now, as that's the number 19 right there working his way back up through the field. He'll roll all over the back bumper here of Baker Nat. Bryce Gainey back out on the racetrack after getting loose underneath that previous caution flag. And here comes Chris Knighty down on the bottom side of the racetrack. He'll battle door to door with Kyle Fowler. Kyle Fountain searching that top side through turns 3 and 4 really early here. Quick and early battling door to door with Chris 90. What a battle right here. And here comes the boogeyman, your mom's favorite driver, driving the 23 Toyota Camry. So we got a Ford, a Chevy, and a Toyota battling it all out right here. In front of your face for this top 5 spot, it's going to be Terry Hughes Jr. battling door to door with Chase Johnson for the race lead. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Johnson's got up some trouble down here. Here comes Terry Hughes Jr. down on the bottom side. Terry Hughes Jr. works his way through turns 3 and 4. They'll battle door to door off of turn 4. Got to give it to a Chevy and a Ford here for 2 bow ties, 3 bow ties, making their way back through the field here. Chase Johnson will get the advantage with the momentum off of turns 3 and 4. Remember, guys, ladies and gentlemen, remind you guys, tonight's keys of the race. You got to stay on top and balance of these race cars and avoid the bump in turns 3 and 4. Watch these race cars as they head down here to turns 3 and 4. Just massive bumps. As you see these cars just bounce around. Chase Johnson real tight up the racetrack right there, but he has to come out the gas quite a bit, but that'll give the advantage to him as he gets the momentum rolled back off the top of that hill. Ladies and gentlemen, that battle's not going anywhere for that race lead. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Fountain will cut the fastest lap on the racetrack that last time around, exploring the top side of the racetrack, maybe trying to figure something out here for later on in tonight's event here. It looks like we have smoke blowing out from the rope here, but maybe somebody barbecuing in the infield. Chase Johnson's got some more company. Here comes Terry Hughes Jr. charging back down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Corey Tesner trying to help his teammate, but he'll jump back down on the bottom side of the dogleg. Terry Hughes Jr. out front here in Charlotte. Heading towards 1 and 2, Terry Hughes Jr. will clear for the race lead. Look at these guys already starting to fan out here. The sun is starting to fade away behind the stands. We appreciate you guys tuning in here for the Bet Takes 150. Terry Hughes Jr. out front here after winning his first pole in the Madness Racing League for the Next Gen Cup Series. He'll work his way off turns 3 and 4. Finally starting to pull away from that number 5 of Showtime. Chase Johnson riding out the ass end of Chase Johnson as he battles door to door with his teammate of Corey Riptide Tesner. And Terry Hughes Jr. sets sail across the race lead, going from the top of the racetrack to the bottom. Ain't this a beautiful racetrack? The water tower off of turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway. All these guys single file. Nicholas Maynard with the fastest lap on the racetrack that last time. It's with Chris 90 is charging right behind him in that triple deuce machine. Chris 90 just had surgery on his hand earlier this week, but still out here in the race car, turning laps regardless of what the doctor says. As he'll give a big fat middle finger with that broken hand to the doctor. But now he's got some trouble here. Now he's battling door to door with Blake Hochschild. We seen Blake Hochschild a couple weeks ago in the TNA Truck Series for the Madness Racing League. He had one of the fastest Toyota Camrys Toyota Tundra, as we were truck racing that night on the long run. Does his Paint Hots Toyota team have the same thing here tonight in Charlotte as he continues to battle door to door here with the Triple Deuce? Like Chris Knight will give up the spot there. Just want to try to save a little bit of tire. Bryce Gainey still trying to charge his way back through the field here. He battles back here door to door with the number 500cars.com of Young Money, Alex Morales. Alex Morales will make the trip from the west coast out here to the east coast. And now they both got some company. Here comes Baker Knapp down on the bottom side. Baker Knapp, the first half part of the Knapp Daddy Racing team. The Scott Depot, West Virginia driver comes in here tonight for the Madness Racing League, making his Booty Scoot Racing channel debut as he battles door to door here. Looks like he's going to be having the advantage over the Paint Hoss machine, but no, here comes Bryce Gainey. He's got something to say down on the bottom side of Baker Knapp. And Bobby Kyle up here in this 777 machine. Little door banging back here with Dominic Solano. Bobby Kyle, he is a no-grab-ass kind of driver. You do not play games with the old-timer Bobby Kyle from Monterville, Georgia. He's up off the bottom side of the racetrack here trying to clear stuff around the number 62. And it looks like he will. Bobby Kyle might be 62 years old, but that don't mean hell of anything as he's working his way back down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Once again, looking back down here on the back straightaway, Kyle Fountain continues to be the fastest bow tie on the racetrack here. He'll cut about a 2/10 faster of a lap than the race leader of Terry Hughes Jr. As Terry Hughes Jr. really starting to sell away here. We were riding on board with Terry Hughes Jr., the race leader, talking to Terry before tonight's event started. He told me that he had a fuck-ton time to spend out there with the fans in the fan zone signing autographs before tonight's event. He brought his entire family up from Alabama here tonight to Charlotte Motor Speedway as he felt like his 81XI racing team had this one circled on the schedule. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard and John Michael Bryant beating and banging back here for looks like going to be the 6th and 7th place spot. 17 laps are complete here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. I'm going to shut the hell up and stop talking, send you down here on the racetrack with the Madness Racing League Fast and Loud. Ladies and gentlemen, back up here in the booth from the Madness Racing League's Fast and Loud. How about some beautiful shots here from these Booty Scoot Racing channel cameramen, and the lights are on. And I'm not talking Lupe Fiasco style either. Nicholas Maynard has a rocket ship here tonight. He just cut the fastest lap of the racetrack, and he is currently up 11 positions from where he started. The 0-2 is absolutely scooting his way through the field. Kyle Fountain has had one of these better bow ties up here in this front path, but meanwhile, Jonathan Smith in this Nap Daddy Racing Chevy Camaro continuing to do what he did 2 weeks ago, pulling his way through the field, cutting some of the fastest laps on the racetrack. Jonathan Smith told me tonight he had to go to victory lane. It's North Carolina representation out here tonight for Nap Daddy Racing. He works his way off the corner here, trying to run down Terry Hughes Jr., but Terry Hughes Jr. is just light and day difference here from the rest of the field right now. And as the sun starts to settle here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, how will these cars change? How will these guys handle these race cars? As we still have yet to approach our first green flag pit stop. Looks like this is going to be an absolute mess up here. Chase Johnson and Corey Tesner, two Chase Johnson Racing teammates Chevy Camaros, have the same setup inside of those race cars here, plowing late in the run. 25 laps complete next time around. How will these Chase Johnson Racing Camaros start to evolve over the night's race as the sun goes down and the lights come on? Nicholas Maynard cuts the fastest lap on the racetrack that last time around, and he's currently the fastest running forward behind Terry Hughes Jr., the race leader. But here comes Kyle Fountain, and Kyle Fountain says, I'm not going to play any kind of games. I'm trying to go to the front. Kyle Fountain looking to make it 3 wide in Charlotte. Off of turns 3 and 4, these guys are absolutely shitting and getting here. We'll ride around, see if we can't get through the Bojangles drone cam to get a better look here on this battle for this race, for this 3rd and 4th place spot. Looks like Kyle Fountain has got some company in his mirrors. John Michael Bryant just cut the fastest lap on the racetrack that last time around. But here comes Corey Tesner charging on the outside. He'll pull around his Chase Johnson Racing driver, team owner of Chase Johnson. Nicholas Maynard will sell to the top side of the racetrack. He's looking to work around the number 5 of Corey Tesner. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this battle right here. John Michael Bryant in the crowd are roaring to turns 1 and 2. All the hot bombs are up and standing. Nicholas Maynard looks like he'll try the top side of the racetrack. See if he can't get a run down the back straightaway. He'll get to catch the back bumper of Kyle Fountain in that number 59. He'll think better of putting the back bumper to him here. John Michael Bryant listening to the radio. Here comes that Toyota Blake Hochschild. We seen it last week, 2 weeks ago, in the truck race. The long run is the way to go for the number 12 of Blake Hochschild. Now Nicholas Maynard quarter panel. He's got it on the number 59. They'll battle their way up here to turn the 1 and 2. Kyle Fountain's got to hold off this position from the number 02 as we work lap 27, coming to 28 next time around. door-to-door. Kyle Fallon's not able to zoom the door shut. Nicholas Maynard's got a charge on the top side. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys are absolutely going at it for just the 4th place spot here. Jonathan Smith, on the other hand, though, he's starting to reel in here. Kitty. The back bumper of the race leader, Terry Hughes Jr. Terry Hughes Jr. has never won in the Madness Racing League. Not any race, any series. Can he change it here tonight? He is tonight's Vegas favorite, ladies and gentlemen. Terry Hughes Jr., we talked about it before tonight's race. If he could just follow tonight's keys to success, he would have a great chance of going to victory lane here, as we felt like it fell right into the back pocket of the number 81. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you, here's tonight's keys of the race as you watch it side by side here on the Madness Racing League. Save those tires. 29 laps into tonight's event already. Who has saved what, when, where, and why, and how? Right now, Corey Tesner is losing spots tremendously on the long run right here in this number 5 Flow Racing machine. As you see this Toyota and another Toyota right behind him, that's Bobby Kyle, really starting to catch up here to this number 5 of Corey Tesner. And you got to watch how you manage that bump through turns 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Hughes Jr., the race leader, going down the back straightaway right now. See how the front nose of this race car handles as he handles his way through turns 3 and 4. Reminding you that the turn 3 was built on a lamp. You see it just drop down right there. Big bump right there. You have to come off the gas. Terry Hughes Jr., the race leader, absolutely managing his way around the Charlotte Motor Speedway right now with full capability to the max. Meanwhile, Corey Tesner and Bobby Kyle going at it back here. And while we're reminding you, the day-to-night change is the biggest part of tonight's event that we really wanted to explain about. As the sun goes down and the moon comes up here, how will these guys ask for adjustments on top of these race cars? Meanwhile, Chase Johnson trying to get back around the 0-2 of Nicholas Maynard. These guys have been going at it for about 3 or 4 laps now, and we've kept our cam on it back down here on the main broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. Fat Takes 150. Jonathan Smith damn near took out the camera right there as he was running down the race leader of Terry Hughes Jr. down the back straightaway here. Look at them roar down the back straightaway. What a beautiful shot here in the Fat Takes 150. Blake Hochschild here in this Toyota Camry. Got some speed in it here, and this other Toyota right behind him, Bobby Kyle, really starting to put on some lap times. Looks like Nicholas Maynard will get around the number 5 of Chase Johnson nice and cleanly here, heading into turns 3 and 4. But Kyle Fallon is really starting to look into the nose here. And look out the front bumper of Blake Hochschild. He sees these 3 cars going at it in front of him, and you know what he's starting to think? Can I join the party? Don't need an invitation here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You get in, you go. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like Bobby Kyle's got something to say. Here comes the old guy, Bobby Kyle, down on the bottom side of the racetrack, battling door-to-door with Blake Hochschild. Bobby Kyle will make the trip from Arnoldville, Georgia. He's driving the Lucky Strike 777 Havoline Toyota Camry. Almost said Camaro. I'm that jacked up here with the way that these guys have been putting on a show all night long. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. still holds the race lead over Jonathan Smith, really able to shut the air off back there to that Camaro. We are seeing the difference in manufacturers right now. Looks like Nicholas Maynard has worked his way up from the 17th place spot all the way up here to the 3rd place spot. So as the sun has started to go down here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the moon has started to come out, Corey Riptide Tesner and Chase Johnson in these Chase Johnson Racing bow ties haven't had the speed that they were looking for. Chase Johnson says he's able to hold on to the right rear tire quite a little bit better than this other bow tie below him, Kyle Fallon. But if he gets stuck on this top side, he don't know how long he'll be able to hold on here. And he said with pit stops coming around the corner here, we really need to make an adjustment to the back half of this race car. Looks like Jonathan Smith's trying to make a pass for the race lead, but Terry Hughes Jr. is really able to hold on and defend it quite well there, riding out the ass end of the race leader of Terry Hughes Jr. Him and Jonathan Smith absolutely been trading blows here at the America's Home of Racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a shot here as both of these cars are glowing underneath the lights. We glad that you have tuned in here tonight for the VetTix 150 and choosing us to be a part of your Wednesday afternoon, night, however the hell you're seeing it. If you're checking out the YouTube page located in the top right of your screen, make sure you head on over there, give us a big fat subscribe. These guys are absolutely shitting and getting out. Morales works his way down the back straightaway, down into turns 1 and 2. Nicholas Maynard still electing to paint that high line here with Kyle Fountain right behind him. Terry Hughes Jr., Jonathan Smith down the back straightaway here. Jonathan Smith really starting to close in now here. We will check lap times this time around. Terry Hughes Jr. really has to get up out the gas through turns 3 and 4. That'll close the door for Jonathan Smith here. Remember, these two guys, teammates, alliances in a way. Jonathan Smith supplying all the paint and parts needed for the number 81 XI Charter team to be able to compete here in the Madness Racing League. That number 81 XI Racing team has been bad fast here in the recent weeks. They've come to the program here tonight. Terry Hughes Jr. sits on the pole. He'll lose the race lead here early, but as long as we've stayed green up to this point so far, I have no utterly idea on who might have something for this number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. as him and Jonathan Smith continue to battle it out. The kid of Nicholas Maynard's really starting to put some distance here between him and cousin Big Country Kyle Fountain. We're listening into the Kyle Fountain's radio ear. He's asking for another Gatorade and to get him a whole roll of Grizzly Wintergreen in the window ASAP when they come down here for this pit road, as he cannot see straight with the way that some of these guys are starting to piss him off around here. They'll ask the number 59 driver his oil temperature inside of that race car. He'll tell them 227, but the driver's 450. Kyle Fountain not happy with the way that his team came to the racetrack tonight and prepared this bow tie. As we're looking at the ticker right now, Jonathan Smith's got the fastest bow tie in the state of North Carolina. But we would expect that, a hometown race here for Jonathan Smith and Nicholas Maynard. 2 blue ovals up here in the top 3. Did the Fords have something here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway to find their way to victory lane? We have yet to have any other manufacturer besides bow ties find their way to victory lane. Blake Hochschild will take that back. Give the fastest lap on the racetrack to Bobby Kyle from Honorsville, Georgia. The 65-year-old absolutely shitting and getting down the back straightaway here. Bobby Kyle on the long run here. 1.5 tenths faster than the race leader, Terry Hughes Jr. What do the Toyota Camrys have in store for us here tonight? 2 of them marching their way through the field currently as we speak. 43 laps are complete here tonight. VetTix 150 as they climb the banking through turns 1 and 2. Kyle Fountain looking in that mirror. He's got a hard charging. Kyle Fountain. So many Kyles. Don't get it twisted. Kyle Fountain knows how to play defense in these next-gen cars. That's what he'll do. He'll stay on the bottom side of the racetrack here, and he's going to tell that old man, if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to do it on the outside. And Bobby Kyle is a no-shit-taking kind of driver as well. He will not handle to be blocked and knocked around the racetrack by this young buck, Kyle Fountain. Kyle Fountain loose and tight up off the corner. That'll open up the door for Bobby Kyle down the back straightaway. The 2 Kyles going at it. Who's going to get it into turn 3? Bobby Kyle really has the momentum through 3 and 4. Can he move up off the corner and clear himself? Kyle Fountain will collect the outside wall. But here comes a hard charging Blake Hochschild. He'll make the pass around Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson and Corey Tester both down 5 spots from where they started. Really begging for a caution flag right now so they can make adjustments to these Chevy Camaros. And here comes John Michael Bryant trying everything that he knows in the book to get this machine up and rolling here. He'll ask for a chassis adjustment when they come down pit road and a half a pound out the left rear tire. Bobby Kyle hard on the outside wall, caution flag. No, caution flag is out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 777 Havoline Chevy Camaro of Bobby Kyle. We'll back that ass up here for the old-timer Bobby Kyle, who made the trip up here from Honorsville, Georgia. Had a hellacious run going, starting from the back of the pack, working his way all the way up here to the top 5. absolutely destroyed here across the front stretch. We'll have to back that ass up here. Make sure you take a look and grab you a piece and see what happened to Bobby Kyle here. We've seen him battling door to door here. Well, looks like going to be a lap car here of the number 62 of Dominic Solano, getting into maybe the back bumper here of Bobby Kyle's got him jacked up all throughout the corner. Bobby Kyle with a hellacious save, but it's hard to the outside wall. Kyle Fountain able to hold on to it as well, but Bobby Kyle takes a hellacious shot to that outside wall there. Peter the pace car will be out here on the racetrack. Don't look like much damage to that 777. We'll back it up one more time and ride around with Bobby Kyle. See what the hell Dominic Solano had going on here. A lap down, racing up here in the top 5. Must have took some fresh set of tires or something. Not sure why he was absolutely, feel like he needed to abuse the old timer. Bobby Kyle gives him a shot through the corner, gives him another one. And it looks like he's just going to scrape him around the back bumper, skid him a little bit loose, and drive him up the racetrack there. What a save, though, by Kyle Fountain in that number 59. But Bobby Kyle tore up here now at the Charlotte Motor Speedway off the front bumper of Dominic Solano. And I'm hearing from the admin, Dominic Solano will be placed on the aggressive driving list. He's been called to the Madness Racing League hauler after tonight's event. We'll take a commercial break and be back after this. Don't go nowhere. Bang, bang. Welcome back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. The lights are fully illuminated. The sun is going down, which is a damn good thing because I absolutely melt in the sun. I will turn into some crisp bacon out there. Looks like we are getting ready to have the first pit stops of the night here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the America's home of racing. It's going to be Terry Hughes Jr. leading us down pit road with Jonathan Smith right behind him. The kid of Nicholas Maynard will be third in line. Blake Kochshaw will be fourth. Kyle Fountain fifth. Chase Johnson sixth. John Michael Bryant seventh. Corey Tesner eighth. And Baker Knapp ninth. Tony Cook will come down 10th. Bryce Gainey, Bobby Kyle. We'll see how they shake out here as they all roll into their pits. Looks like Nicholas Maynard down in the mirror who missed his box. We're driving down pit road here. Here comes the race leader of Terry Hughes Jr. And the battle on pit road is on here. Everybody trying everything in their ability. Looks like the Nap Daddy Racing team car will miss his box here. Tony Cook slides into the number 33. Terry Hughes Jr., the race leader, making his pit stops right here. These guys will drop the jack on the left side of that Mobile 1. It'll be a battle off pit road. Who's going to get it? Give it to Terry Hughes Jr. over Jonathan Smith. Kyle Fountain with a great stop there at his country. Big cousin Jim Fountain Racing Boys will get the job done here. So several guys able to pick up some track position there. Nicholas Maynard still stuck down here on pit road. He's just now off. Tony Cook coming off pit road as well. Bryce Gainey still stuck down here as well as Baker Knapp. So pit stops are in the book here for at least the first time here tonight. We'll see how things shake out here. It's been one clean race so far up to this point. This is our second caution flag of the night from the Vetix 150. Looks like Terry Hughes Jr. and his 81XI Mobile 1 Racing boys will get him back out here to the front, and he will, looks like he will redeem, the race lead here as we're looking over here at the ticker, waiting on things to shake out how they are supposed to. Looks like Alex Young Money Morales will be scheduled to be the lucky dog, but he'll go and pit, so not sure it'll reward him with the lucky dog here. So we'll see how things shake out here. Bobby Kyle with big damage, still stuck down there on pit road. Dominic Solano, the causer of that one right there. He is behind the pace car here looking for the wave around. Dominic Solano will be called to the Madness Racing League hauler for aggressive driving after tonight's event. He'll wave around the pace car. Chris Knighty will be the lucky dog this time around. Whoa, 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 whoa. For Chris Knighty, he'll work his way around to catch the tail end of the pace car. So we're going to be halfway when we get ready to grab the green flag from Freddie the flagman in the Vetix 150, heading down the back straightaway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Reminding you, 2 weeks from now on Wednesday night, we will be heading to the Iowa Speedway. Make sure you tune into the Booty Scoot Racing channel right here on the TikTok platform or the YouTube page, and we would gladly appreciate it. It will be one hell of a show. Tire saving is sure to be in effect there. Look at this beautiful digger shot from the turn 3 down here, the America's Home for Racing, as the lights are fully illuminated. The Toyota TRD sign is up there. Here comes Peter the pace car. He'll throw you the big fat middle finger. Terry Hughes Jr. absolutely been dominating tonight's VetTix 150. Tires have been the topic here. We'll go back through the keys of the race when we get things shaking and baking again. But it's going to be Terry Hughes Jr., the guy in charge here through the Geico restart zone, bringing them back to the green flag here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Green flag is back in the air for Terry Hughes Jr. He'll slap down on the gas. Green flag. Working their way here towards turn 1 entry. Jonathan Smith gets a great jump here on the outside, but he'll have to fall behind Chase Johnson, and Chase Johnson will take the bottom side of the racetrack. Terry Hughes Jr. up off the corner, down the back straightaway. Chase Johnson gets that second place spot. Guys on different strategy. Here comes Kyle Fountain. He'll give the shot to Nicholas Maynard and send him down at the bottom side of the corner. Lap 1 is complete here, heading back towards turns 1 and 2. Looks like Terry Hughes Jr. is going to be the race leader over Chase Johnson. Really able to hold on here. The lights are fully illuminated here on the next gen race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. These cars are going to change absolutely dramatically. What would you do? Air pressure, less gas, more tires, more wedge. Who knows what these guys have done it, but some of these guys have some of the best in the business, and some of these guys slap the outside wall there off the exit of turns 3 and 4 here. Jonathan Smith will cut the fastest lap on the racetrack that last time around, and here goes Nicholas Maynard and that Toyota Camry that we talked about earlier the night before. The caution flag came out. Support Haas, support the troops. Number 12, Blake Hochschild, has brought the answer here tonight for Charlotte Motor Speedway. Him and Nicholas Maynard will try it out here. Nicholas Maynard will stay in the middle / top side. Blake Hochschild will drive from the bottom to the top, trying to shut the air off of that number 02 of Nicholas Maynard. Just not able to get there and quite do it. Nicholas Maynard will look left, look back right. Who's going to try what, when, where, why in the turns 1 and 2? Blake Hochschild has really caught up to that back bumper of John Michael Bryant. You're riding out the front bumper of Blake Hochschild here. The battle for the race lead is really dissipated big time here. Riding out the front bumper of second place driver Chase Johnson. There's his teammate there's Jonathan Smith right behind him with his teammate Corey Tetzel right behind Jonathan Smith here. They try to run down Terry Hughes Jr., who means business here tonight in Charlotte. If you remember, Terry Hughes Jr. made his debut here in the Gen 6 Cup Series, Season 1 that we had at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and led a shit ton of laps here. And I believe we seen Bobby Kyle, the old-timer, go to victory lane that night, that day. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're leaving us some comments on the YouTube page and the TikTok platform, asking us, it looks like contact made here. Nicholas Maynard giving the shove to the number 23 in the turns 1 and 2. It's actually a very sincere move here. You get the shot to the car in front of you, give him a little bit of momentum into the corner. If he doesn't judge it quite right, come off the gas the way that he really needs to, and slow down for the corner to make it, he'll slide up the racetrack. That'll allow for you to be able to cut down up underneath him. So I kind of see what the 02's thinking there, but that's really opened up the door to this number 12, Blake Hochschild and Tony Cook, and this Silver Bullet. Haven't talked much about him tonight. He is really starting to cook his way through the field. No pun intended. This Silver Bullet might have something to say here, but we'll have to wait. The Chevy bow ties haven't been the greatest here tonight, but we finally get the green flag, the flag pits off that we were looking for, and several guys make big-time adjustments here. We see that guy right there, the kid of Nicholas Maynard, on pit road for an extra 10 seconds. What kind of adjustments can these guys do to these race cars? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what the hell they need to step on top of here. We are 7 laps past the halfway point, and Kyle Fountain is trying to work around the number 33 of Tony Cook, listening into the number 59 of Kyle Fountain. Cousin Big Country Kyle Fountain does not like the way that this race car is trending right now. He said that they do not get something done about this the next time he brings it down here, they are in big trouble here tonight in Charlotte. One of his favorite racetracks. Just don't have the piece of equipment here tonight to make it show. Meanwhile, driver owner Chase Johnson brings his team to Charlotte here tonight. He'll make the quick trip up from Greer, South Carolina. Chase Johnson, the Season 1 champion for the Gen 6 Cup Series, for the first Cup Series season that we done. He's trying to work around his teammate right now. That's his race car in front of him, Corey Tessner. And Chase Johnson, the driver owner here, two-time winner, the only multiple winner we've had here in the Next Gen Series. He picked up the win at the Bristol Motor Speedway and the Nashville Super Speedway. And it looks like Bobby Kyle back out here on the racetrack after repairing that 777 machine. So the old-timer down but not out here, showing you why you should never give up and to always fight here on the Moody Scoot Racing channel. Just showing you exactly why we're here tonight underneath the lights, supporting the troops for the Vet Tix 150. Terry Hughes Jr. is going to lead yet another lap around the Charlotte Motor Speedway here, continuing to add points to his total score. Meanwhile, here comes Nicholas Maynard, him and John Michael Bryant pushing each other around, trying to use the draft to their advantage down the back straightaway. Nicholas Maynard trying to get around the the 51 of Chase Johnson, but not able to clear him quite there. Nicholas Maynard will slide up to the top side of the racetrack. Chase Johnson down on the bottom of the racetrack. We were just talking about Chase Johnson. What we were trying to say is Chase Johnson must mean a lot on him to come here tonight, knowing that you have a whole entire team on your plate, chartering 3 different vehicles. One of them not even here tonight, happened to do a start and park. You see it down there on the left side of your screen. James Fallon starting and parking tonight, trying to make sure that he can get some points here to make sure he's in at least contention for the playoffs. If something was to happen here, ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Fallon says, I'm adjusting all the brake bias I know necessary. I'm pulling every rabbit out of the hat, and it looks like it might be starting to work here as he's starting to reel back in this number 12 for Blake Hochschild. Ladies and gentlemen, listening to my racing electronics scanner that I grabbed out front here in the fan zone section here, entering turns 3 and 4. Terry Hughes Jr., the race leader, said I'm lacking some downforce on the front nose. Cannot get the front of this number 81 Mobil 1 Ford Mustang to turn here, and we're only about 10 laps in after the pit stop here. So could they have went the wrong way on the adjustments of the number 81 Ford Mustang? We will have to hope not. The U.S. Navy veteran trying to support the troops here tonight. He's been there, done that on the battlefield. Can he get himself to victory lane? Terry Hughes Jr. never won a race here in the Madness Racing League. Can he do it tonight? A great points day so far, 64 laps. For sure you can add to the bank for Terry Hughes Jr. Plus or minus about 7 or 8 or so, where we seen Chase Johnson get up there and grab the race lead for a little bit. But this is the guy to talk about, Jonathan Smith, the bow tie, the number 13, known for saving tires. And that Nap Daddy Racing team, they put their ever-living last dollar cent of their program on to learn how to set up and manage tires here. We talked to him before the qualifying session. He said that it was very slick out there on the racetrack. And if these guys were going to have a chance to compete for tonight's event, they were going to have to tire save tonight. How many other people got the memo when the sun was out earlier tonight when we kicked off and dropped the green flag? Corey Tessner really has an interesting story to tell here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Started up front here, tried to get his way out there, made contact with Holden Wheeler and sent him around. Holden Wheeler, not happy, will climb up on top of the pit box of the number 5 of Corey Riptide Tessner, grabbed the crew chief by the jersey and said, I want to see him after the race. Corey Tessner will have a friend waiting on him in the garage area. We'll see how things shake out after tonight's event, but Corey Tessner, that doesn't tell all the story tonight for this Flow Racing number 5 Chevy Camaro. Even though he's been in the wall quite a few times, he's had the trouble. He hasn't let it rattle him. We'll see if we can't get on the onboard cam of Corey Riptide Tessner. He's got to win. He's locked into the playoffs as he won the season opener at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He tries the bottom side of the racetrack. He sees the race leader right in front of him, Terry Hughes Jr. right in front of the second place driver, Jonathan Smith. Does Corey Riptide Tessner have something up his sleeve here? Corey Tessner, a dirt driver turned NASCAR driver here tonight at Charlotte, as he'll climb down on the bottom side of the making through turns 3 and 4. Slowly working our way through the field here, trying to get you to introduce you to some of the new guys here on the Moody Scoot Racing channel. Learn some of the drivers. Here's the kid of Nicholas Maynard, The 02 Maynard Motors Ford Mustang's got some speed in it here on the top side of the racetrack here. And he will be the second fastest lap on the racetrack that last time around. You have to give it to Corey Tesner, the guy in front of him. Nicholas Maynard racing for the championship in the Xfinity Series. Picked up the win at the Atlanta Motor Speedway about a month ago almost now. In the Xfinity Series, locked him in. Who will join him? We know Kevin Tanko's will. Nicholas Maynard, though, finally showing some speed here in the next gen. As after he was wrecked out on the Bristol Motor Speedway, was pissed off after that race after taking himself out. Just hasn't had the race that he was looking for, especially at Nashville after getting in the Bobby Kyle. Rebounding here tonight, Nicholas Maynard up 14 spots, currently in contention for the Hard Charging Award. Talking about Chase Johnson being a driver owner comes tough. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're spending all your money trying to take care of everybody else, Chase Johnson, we asked before the race down on pit road, really looking for a competition director to hire in shop at the Chase Johnson Racing Department. And I asked him how important is having someone there to be able to manage time crunch, do all the great things back at the shop while you're out here on the track. And he said it's a great thing. And then the lady beside me asked another stupid question. Chase Johnson told her to shut the hell up. If he weren't going to ask a great question, this is what real journalism looks like. Chase Johnson said if they were going to compete for the championship for the rest of the year, it doesn't matter how many wins they had right now, that they were going to have to get this shit turned around, as he was sick and tired of bringing these things to the race car. Meanwhile, John Michael Bryant and Tony Cook going at it back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. And Tony Cook starting to charge through the field here with 29 laps to go. And if he's going to move up here, we're going to talk about it. Tony Cook, ladies and gentlemen, owns his own restaurant throughout the week here on the weekends, racing full-time in the Madness Racing League. The number 33 Coors Light Chevy Camaro's got some speed in it here. He is second right now for the Hard Charging Award, currently up 11 spots from where he started at the tail end of the field. Tony Cook just can never catch a break. It ever seems to appear here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Every time he has a chance of possibly winning a race, if you remember correctly, in the Gen 6 league that we had that Tony Cook participated in, he came mere inches from winning the Charlotte race that night, but ran out of gas with 2 laps to go. And Bobby Kyle was the person in victory lane that night. Does Tony Cook have the speed here late to drive up through the field with 27 laps remaining? Tony Cook has cut the fastest lap on the racetrack there that last time around by 2/10 to the race leader. Tony Cook has a rocket ship here late. We'll keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, Kyle Fountain and John Michael Bryant will round out the 7th and 8th place spot. Absolutely going at it here. Kyle Fountain and John Michael Bryant know each other in real life. So this isn't some video game. These guys will go find each other in real life and put a beat down on one another. You don't want to fuck with these two. Kyle Fountain down the back straightaway, riding on board with the Jim Fountain Racing chartered entry here tonight for the Madness Racing League. John Michael Bryant, right behind him. Too many Johns, too many Kyles in the field tonight. Kyle Fountain said if we want to have a chance to make the playoffs this year, we got a points battle. Got to have great finishes. Kyle Fountain has been running damn near the top 5 all night long. He'll go down there. He said he felt like they went the wrong way on the adjustment here, and they probably should have made an adjustment on the left side tire, not the right side tire. So he's having to preload into the banking quite earlier than he would really want to here. Working their way off the corner. There's the race leader, Terry Hughes Jr. Terry Hughes Jr. 25 laps to go this time around. Separates Terry Hughes Jr. in his first trip to victory lane here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. What does the 81 have to do to break the bad luck? Does it in here tonight? Down the back straightaway, headed to turn 3 with 25 laps to go. "25 laps remain here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. Kyle Fountain will pick up the spot over Chase Johnson there. So Chase Johnson continuing to bleed spots here late tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the number 96 of Baker Knapp. Working his way up through the field. He was napping at the first part of the run, but now he's starting to absolutely come to life. Does this Liquid Death number 96 have anything left in it here to make something shake here with 23 laps to go? currently running in the 9th place spot. He's got some hard work to do if he wants something to make shake here tonight. Make sure you go check out Baker Knapp, the first half in NapDaddyRacing.com for all your iRacing paint scheme, liveries, and needs. Blake Hochschild back here screaming on the radio, I'm plowing tight. What the hell did you do to this race car? We had an absolute rocket ship earlier tonight. Now this thing is an absolute piece of shit as it plows up the racetrack through turns 3 and 4. Blake Hochschild, currently the last one running on the lead lap in front of Bryce Gainey. But ladies and gentlemen, look at this battle for the race lead. Terry Hughes Jr. and Jonathan Smith are going at it. The crowd is on their feet. Jonathan Smith, the hometown kid here tonight in Charlotte. Does he have enough left in that engine for Coffee Company, Nap Daddy Racing, Chevy Camaro to bring home the victory here tonight? I mean, it's absolutely flying here, mere inches behind each other, waiting for a mistake. Look at all these guys putting on a show here. The laps are winding down. They're tired. The equipment's beat up. Who has anything left to go here on the Moody Scoot Racing channel? Jonathan Smith down into turns 3 and 4, looking for the race lead, but he's up off the gas quite a little bit more. As he's telling his race crew right now, I'm not trying to push hard right now. We've got 20 laps to go. He knows what Terry Hughes is capable of. Terry Hughes Jr., one of those tire savers as well. He will make something shake on the back half of this run. Riding on board with Terry Hughes Jr. out the front bumper cam. He's plowing inside of there, telling him, I'm really starting to feel like the rear tires are starting to chatter away here. We'll see how much he has to come off the gas down here to turns 3 and 4. Really rolling the corner back to the Gallardo there easy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is far from over here. We'll pull up the pit stop lap strategy count here as they come across the front stretch here. Alex Morales is the only other person here in the top 10 currently to have pitted outside of that lap 47 window on lap 65, about 18 laps later, excuse me. Don't judge me on my math because I grew up in the state of South Carolina and the math was not mathing there when I was growing up. So right now, as they currently run, it's Terry Hughes Jr., Jonathan Smith, Nicholas Maynard rounding out the podium spot. Corey Tesner and Tony Cook back here battling it out for the 4th place spot. And Kyle Fountain trying to run down Tony Cook for the top 5 spot. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments and laps, near miles away from a winner here tonight in Charlotte. With that being said, we will throw you down on the racetrack for the final time here tonight for the Madness Racing League's FetTix 150 Fast and Loud. Welcome back here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. 12 laps to go here in the VETIX 150. That was the final fast and loud here tonight for the Madness Racing League. You are watching the battle for the race lead with lap traffic right up ahead for the number 81 Mobile One U.S. Navy veteran of Terry Hughes Jr. Terry Hughes Jr. has came in here tonight, won the pole, and absolutely dominated up to this point. He has led a race high of 77 laps up to this point right now. What can Terry Hughes Jr. have left in the tank to stay away from the guy literally mere inches right behind him in that mirror of Jonathan Smith? The team reminding Terry Hughes Jr., don't look out that rear view mirror. This drive, aero block, do everything that you know possible to bring home that victory back to Troy, Alabama. I mean, what an absolute battle here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel between these two drivers. Terry Hughes Jr. really has a better corner through turns 1 and 2, but Nicholas Maynard's really starting to close up that gap here. Does the kid of Nicholas Maynard have something to say here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel? 10 laps to go this time around. Looks like Kyle Fountain is starting to fall back here just a little bit, but Tony Cook has cut the fastest lap on the racetrack again. Does the number 33 have anything else left in the tank? He's working across the 4th place spot against Corey Riptide Tessner. Tony Cook up 10 spots from where he started. Look at this battle right here between these two guys down the back straightaway. Not giving an inch, two bow ties going at it. They got lap traffic. And Tony Cook will try to use that to his advantage. He'll work door to door through turns 3 and 4, And Tony Cook will get the advantage over Corey Tessner off 4. Meanwhile, look at this one right here. John Michael O'Brien and Kyle Fountain battling it out here as well. 8 laps to go. The last thing that we need is a caution flag here tonight to end the VETIX 150 and taking the overtime. Jonathan Smith 2 weeks ago had the win stolen from him at Nashville Super Speedway. Very similar to this style way. Set behind the race leader for a little bit. Save some Goodyear rubber and try to make a charge to the race lead late like he's doing right now. He closes up the distance to Terry Hughes Jr. These two guys have been nose to tail for the last 74 laps here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. Jonathan Smith needing a win here to lock himself into the Next Gen playoffs, redeem himself from 2 weeks ago. Terry Hughes Jr. never won a race here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel or in the Madness Racing League. Does he have enough? 6 laps to go down the back straightaway. That is the 5 lap to go mark presented to you by J Money Scents Premium Scented Candles here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. Here's how they roll out right now with 5 laps to go. That battle for the race lead is not going anywhere. Jonathan Smith's got the 2nd place spot. Terry Hughes Jr. is the race leader. Nicholas Maynard's got the 3rd place spot. And here comes Tony Cook. He is closing the distance to that back bumper of that 0-2 Nicholas Maynard Motors machine. Does Tony Cook have enough laps to make the run to the race lead? I don't think so. 4 laps to go. Corey Tessner will have to settle for the 5th place spot, but John Michael Bryant's got a 10th over Corey Tessner with 4 laps to go. Terry Hughes Jr. less than 10 miles away from a victory here in the Madness Racing League. A chance at the playoff. Jonathan Smith will look low here below the number 81. He won't get it. He'll try the outside. The battle is on. Terry Hughes Jr. needs to play defense, but he's not able to close him. He's got the quarter panel side by side with 3 laps to go. Battling door to door here, the U.S. Navy veteran down on the bottom side, wanting to win it here tonight for all the veterans in attendance. Door to door down the back straightaway. The top side, Jonathan Smith, the hometown hero from Goldsboro, North Carolina. All the fans will jump to their feet as the North Carolina driver will soar past for the race lead off 4. 2 laps to go here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and the vet takes 150. Terry Hughes Jr. is going to have 2 more laps at the back bumper of that Nap Daddy Racing number 13. Jonathan Smith has saved enough tire here, ladies, starting to pull away and checked out by 4 car lengths from Terry Hughes Jr. Down into turns 3 and 4 here for the final time, coming into white flag presented by AFLGlobal.com here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. White flag is in the air for Jonathan Smith, the hometown guy from North Carolina. Terry Hughes Jr. will have 1 more shot. Tony Cook will get around Nicholas Maynard for the 3rd place spot. Down the back straightaway here for the final time tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Jonathan Smith will pull away here from Terry Hughes Jr. and he'll head back off turns 3 and 4, back to the start-finish line. Jonathan Smith will come across the line and he will win the Vet Tix 150. Jonathan Smith wins the Vet Tix 150 here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and an upset here for Terry Hughes Jr. See if we can't, as the fireworks fly around the racetrack here for the number 13 of Jonathan Smith. He'll go to victory lane here for the Vet Tix 150 for the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. Jonathan Smith, the hometown guy, able to get it done here tonight as he burns it down here on the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Smith will steal one here tonight from Terry Hughes Jr. in the closing miles. Jonathan Smith will redeem himself from Nashville 2 weeks ago, and he'll pull it out here on the front podium spot with Terry Hughes Jr. And we'll see if he can't get a congratulatory bumper or something. Jonathan Smith wins the Vet Tix 150. We'll be back in just a moment with the driver interviews for the post-race show and all that great shit. You don't want to miss a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Smith wins the Vet Tix 150 tonight here in Charlotte. Bang! Welcome back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. This is the Madness Racing League Cup Series Season 2. Race number 4. Excuse me, my guys down there. Hold up. Real quick pit road reporter before we start talking. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to wrap up the Madness Racing League Cup Series Season 2, race number 4. And it looks like Jonathan Smith was the guy that was able to be victorious here tonight. It was one hell of a performance from that number 13 Nap Daddy Racing machine. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see how they pull it out tonight for the qualifying results here. It looks like Terry Hughes Jr. is set on the pole, and we'll get all ready to that and that great goodness in just a moment. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a pit reporter down there on pit road, as you heard him trying to come around across a little bit earlier. Go ahead, big guy.
Motor Speedway, the home of America's racing, for the Vet Tix 150, where Jonathan Smith pulls the upset here late over the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. We're down here in victory lane with the number 13 of Jonathan Smith. John, kind of walk us through your night here, dude, from day to night time. You were able to sit back there behind Terry Hughes. You were able to drive your way through the front. Kind of walk us through your strategy here tonight as the sun went down and the moon came up.
Yeah, I mean, practicing qualifying kind of sucked. Track temp was like 114 in practice, cooled down for qualifying a little bit. The car was just plowing a lot throughout the mid, and I realized at that moment that it was going to be a tire saving race. So just came out here, try to save some tire, use some brake to enter the corners, use some gas to get out of the corners. Really let off the throttle a little bit earlier. Got Terry to lead a lot of laps. I think he might be in the playoffs now off of tonight's performance. He had a good car. Good run for that 8XI team, and shout them out. Shout to all the veterans out there as well. Nap Daddy Racing, Premier Setup Shops, Engine 4 Coffee, and looking forward to the next race. I think it's at Iowa. It'll be fun. And my spotter as well, Hunter Foley.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the number 13, Jonathan Smith, the winner here tonight, as he redeemed himself 2 weeks ago from the Nashville Speedway, and he's ready to move on to Iowa. We'll move on down here to the second place runner-up, driver of the number 81, the driver owner of 81XI Racing, Terry Hughes Jr. Terry, you got to be upset here after this one tonight. You'll come into tonight and I believe lead a high of 87 laps and add those points to your total score. Kind of walk us through your car and how it handled through the day and night change.
Oh, this car was great. Practice all week. It's been fantastic. We always bring great cars out here to this racetrack. We kind of matched our setups with Jonathan here tonight. Mine was a little bit better on the short runs. His was better on the long runs. He ended up saving a little bit more tire than us there on the end. And just, I got tight there at the end, and he ended up driving around me, but it's all right. Still got the win. Led a good bit of laps here. I'm just happy I got to do something I ain't done in a very, very long time.
Terry Hughes comes back where he debuted for the Madness Racing League and brings home a P2 spot. We'll see him 2 weeks in Iowa. We'll scoot down here to the old-timer Tony Cook. Tony kind of walked us through tonight. This thing was bad fast once the sun went down. The silver bullet comes flying through the field there in the closing laps. And I think if you had about 15, 20 more laps, you might have had something to say differently about this race. Kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, the 33 Coors Light Chevrolet was fast tonight. It was like it dialed in once the sun came down, the lights came on. So yeah, Spotter said them two guys in front, they were fast, but Spotter said we were 0.2 of a lap faster there at the end. So just run out of laps, but congratulations to Terry and Johnson. They both run a good race.
Tony Cook will hard charge his way from the back of the field tonight to finish on the podium. We'll scoot down here to the 0-2 of Nicholas Maynard. Nick, kind of walk us through your night here and how your car changed from the day to the night. Yeah, it was a great race here tonight. Great race from everybody in the field. Appreciate everybody keeping it clean there majority of the night. Had a bad, fast 0-2 Mustang here tonight in Charlotte. Appreciate all the soldiers. Had fun. That's the 0-2 of Nicholas Maynard. We'll scoot down here to the number 23 of John Michael Bryant. John, you walk us through your night here as you were beating and banging your way up through the top three there. You were able to touch the top three, but it's not enough there towards the back half of the long run. Kind of walk us through and what else you needed out of that Toyota Camry.
The car was just, was plowing tight the whole race. Tried to back the entry up a little bit and just ride the brake a little bit. Just long run, it just kept plowing, even into the changeover into night. We freed it up a little bit there. We had to get a little bit more rotation out of it. Smacked the wall and balls leg one time and just threw the alignment off a little bit. I don't know what the boys back at the shop are doing with their setup situation. Probably a good reason why we're leaving and joining forces with Kyle Fountain and make Jim Fountain Boogie Racing. Maybe we got better luck in that program than we do here. I don't know what we got going on. Things need to change around here.
Number 23 not happy with the speed out of that Toyota Camry here tonight. We'll scoot down here to a newcomer here tonight in the Madness Racing League, filling in the field, driving the number 96, Baker Knapp. Baker, you kind of walk us through your night here as you're able to drive your way up to the top 10 here in your debut. A bad, fast Chevy here at the end. Kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, man, it's good to be racing with y'all tonight. Yeah, instead of talking to the mic. It's been good. John and everyone at Nap Daddy Racing has made things really great, and I've been really enjoying racing with him. And it's been a while since I've been racing. Had a little bit of time off, but it's good to get back to it. And so, yeah, it was fun to drive up through the field, and it was just a good night, and I'm really just pumped to be racing with you guys. And shout out to, again, Nap Daddy Racing and Engine 4 Coffee.
Make sure you head on over to napdaddyracing.com. Check out Baker Knapp and tonight's race winner, Jonathan Smith, here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Back up to the booth.
And back up here to the booth, ladies and gentlemen. We'll bring up the music real quick. We'll send it to commercial break real quick. We'll see if we can't pull up the rest of the post-race show results and get you guys squared away. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back here to the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We just tacked on the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the VetTix 150 live here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Make sure you go over to the YouTube page located in the top right of your screen and smash that like button and smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel so you don't miss a race that we bring to you almost each and every single week. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series Season 2, race number 4 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring up the rest of the schedule here for you folks who you know exactly where we're heading at here in the coming future. Headed to Iowa 2 weeks from now for 100 laps around the Iowa repaved asphalt racetrack. It should be one hell of a show. And then we're headed over for our annual one road course race a year at the Watkins Glen Raceway for 25 laps. And then we are back short track racing on the concrete ovals at Dover. That is going to be one hell of a show to close out the regular season. We'll crown our 10 playoff drivers and head on over to Wilkesboro, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and then Chicagoland. And we're very, very hoping that the iRacing platform has the North Wilkesboro updated with the new pavement and lights installed so we can tackle on a night race there that night. Ladies and gentlemen, we took on tonight's keys of the race for tonight's event. It was save the tires, manage the bump in 3 and 4, and manage that day to night change, and be smart but aggressive at the same time. And you want to know who was able to find that out and do it the best? This guy right here, ladies and gentlemen, the number 13 of Jonathan Smith, came here tonight in Charlotte and picked up the win. He'll join Chase Johnson and Corey Tesner, but the bow ties and the Chevys will still reign as the only manufacturers with wins on the year. Terry Hughes Jr. just may have took over the points lead today with those laps led. He leads a race high of 89 laps out of that 81 XI Ford Mustang. Some strong performance, great data collecting day for the 81 XI Racing. Short from the win, but a great points day for the number 81. Tony Cook had a rocket here in the late portion of tonight's event on that long run. They'll make the adjustment, and I'm assuming instead of filling it with Sunoco race fuel, they just crowned that thing full of silver bullets, and it was blasting core light straight out the exhaust pipe. Flying through the field was Tony Cook. He'll join the podium spot. The kid of Nicholas Maynard will get the hard charging award here tonight. He'll go up 13 spots over here according to my ticker. From the beginning, that's most than anybody else that has gaining spots on their name. So Nicholas Maynard will get the top 4 spot here tonight. Corey Riptide Tesner had a little bit of incident trouble there earlier tonight with Holden Wheeler, but it doesn't tell the tale of Corey's night. He'll get the top 5 spot, but Chase Johnson Racing's got some work to do here tonight, not the run that they were looking for. John Michael Bryan and that J Money Motorsports 23 Toyota Camry. Quick Creek Water River Whiskey on the car tonight, and I believe it might have been in the system of John Michael Bryan as he started to fall apart there late. He asked for a Gatorade. I think he might exchange it for some shots, but John Michael Bryan drives back up here for a P6 spot. Baker Knapp from Scott Depot, West Virginia, will join the field here tonight for the Madness Racing League, a part of Nap Daddy Racing. And look at that, his debut race here for the Madness Racing League, and he is in victory lane with his teammate Jonathan Smith. Big Country Kyle Fountain drives from Clemson, South Carolina, up here to North Carolina tonight, and he will round out the 8th place spot. Chase Johnson driving the number 51 for Chase Johnson Racing. Had the speed here early. He's the only other guy we have besides Jonathan Smith lead lap through the night. So Chase Johnson will add a little bit to his total score. We'll see how things shake out here as he's ready to call that team meeting come tomorrow morning. Blake Hochschild will get the 10th place spot here tonight in his Toyota Camry from Tempe, Arizona, the 25-year-old father of 3, showing you how to get it done here tonight as they went the absolute long way on that last pit stop. He will be having a conversation with that left front tire changer as they were hung again for the second time trying to change tires. Bryce Gainey comes in tonight from Mooresville, North Carolina, right here in the heart of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and he'll grab an 11th place spot after going around after getting a little bit loose, trying to avoid the caution flag early. Alex Young Money Morales from Elk Grove, California will fill in for Kyle Larson tonight in the HendrickCars.com for Mr. Hendrick. Here tonight in Charlotte, testing, trying to get some data for the Hendrick Cars, or the Hendrick Motorsports team on Sundays. Alex Morales will grab a P12 spot here tonight. Chris Knighty brought a rocket ship here tonight, just wasn't able to quite hit the balance quite well, and he wasn't able to work his way through that bump in 3 and 4 like we talked about with tonight's keys of the race. Bobby Kyle slides out here in a brand new Bad Fast Havoline slick 777 Toyota Camry to shine here tonight for the troops. He came up bad fast close to the front of the field, just not able to get it done here tonight. Bobby Kyle will get the 14th place spot. Dominic Solano will get the 15th place spot here tonight after making contact there. He was placed on the aggressive driving list, and he'll be having a conversation with the admin after the tonight's event. James Fountain start and parks it here tonight for the 16th place spot. Trying to get some points, wasn't able to make it to the racetrack here tonight. So he's in and out of that race car, but the points will pay to the number 24 Valvoline Chevy Camaro of James Fountain. Holden Wheeler goes around off the front bumper of Corey Tesner, and like we mentioned earlier tonight, he will drive up to that pit box of Corey Tesner, climb on top of it, jack up the crew chief of the number 5 Chase Johnson Racing chartered entry of Corey Tesner, and tell him to meet him after. We will keep the blip cam up because we will not show the garage cam down there as things got intense between Holden Wheeler and Corey Tesner. Travel Wall gets loose and goes around after cutting off the number 62 of Dominic Solano, trying to avoid the caution flag. No wrongdoing to Travel Wall as he was just trying to avoid the accident. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to round it out here for the final contestants on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and that's going to do it down here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the VetTix 150 quiet track here at Charlotte, America's home for racing. The crowd is starting to fan out here. 98,000 sold out here tonight in the stands. Ladies and gentlemen, reminding you tomorrow night to come right back here tomorrow for the TNA Truck Series for the Madness Racing League from the North Wilkesboro Speedway right down the road here from Charlotte. Plenty of these guys staying around. I'm about to head to the bar with John Michael Bryant and Jonathan Smith and the rest of those boys. Go party it up in Victory Lane. We'll see you tomorrow night.
And always hesitating, kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire, set my heart afire.